So my name is Jessie Mahoney. I am a pediatrician and I'm one of the leaders in the Mindful Healthcare Collective. I'm also a yoga instructor and I do mindful life coaching. And you'll see as we go through yoga, I like to infuse sort of coaching tenets and yoga and coaching philosophy into my yoga. So that adds a bit of a different flavor. It's an all levels class for those of you that are new. Just do things that are comfortable for you or work for you. Don't do anything that causes you discomfort. Over Zoom, it's very hard for me to see what you're doing. So it's beautiful in that you can just do what works for you. And that's actually one of the main tenets of yoga, is to do what works for you and to be in touch with what works for you and know what works for you. So do what works for you. Don't do anything that is uncomfortable, and take it at your own pace. You can turn your video off if that's more comfortable, or leave it on, whatever works for you in terms of comfort. And today I wanted to focus a little bit more on the self-acceptance and compassion, since it was such a powerful conversation with Sarah Dill the other night and clearly brought up a lot of thoughts for many people, including myself. And so this practice, the idea will be to focus on what you are instead of what you are not, and a compassionate acceptance. I think for many of us, self-love is a harder place to get to, but just an acceptance and a willingness to no longer beat ourselves up and accept who we are and bring that energy into the world rather than the energy of not enoughness. So with that, I invite you to find a comfortable seat. If you have a block, sit on it, or a book or a pillow, something to lift your hips above your knees, to be in a comfortable spot, in a comfortable seat. Allow your hips to ground into the earth and connect with where you are in the world right now in this moment. Notice your center and your core and connect with that. Notice your breath. Your hands can just rest lightly on your thighs. And I invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes and focus inward. To take a moment to truly be present with where you are in the universe right now and who you are. And allow your breathing to settle comfortably. Excuse me. Just as it is. No need for the conscious control of the breath yet. Just allow the breath to come in and flow out. Notice your chest rise and fall. And with intention, begin to lengthen the breath. Lengthen the inhale and lengthen the exhale. Allow the breath to enter your body and smooth and circulate out throughout your body. Just notice its nourishment and healing powers. With intention, bring your left hand to your heart. Notice your heartbeat underneath your hand. Focus on your palm and press it into your chest gently. Notice your heartbeat underneath your hand. Even this motion releases oxytocin. Notice how you feel with your hand on your heart. Your heart is beating underneath, and your heart is taking care of your whole body at this moment. Notice that it knows what to do. It's sending oxygen and nourishment to the trillions of cells in every nook and cranny within you. Can you give it space to do what it does and allow it to do its work and send the nourishment and energy and healing without resisting it, without getting in its way? And can you embrace that concept of healing and sending nourishment and support everywhere? Your heart does not discern the parts of you that perhaps you don't like or the parts of you that don't work as well. It sends the oxygen and blood flow everywhere it can in every moment. And can you do the same? Yoga is a practice of letting go and getting rid of the blocks in your mind. It's a practice. It's learning and allowing. Each posture is an opportunity to explore, not to judge, not to criticize, but just to explore. And our journey of life can be seen in much the same way, an opportunity to explore. When we judge ourselves, we actually get in the way. Compassion helps us move forward and explore further, and judgment hinders us. So today, in this hour, can you approach yourself and your body with kindness, with curiosity? There's no right, there's no wrong. Just notice what works and what doesn't. And even what thoughts pop up that are getting in your way. And can you just let them go and keep moving forward with acceptance, with compassion? And I know for many in this group, compassion and acceptance are a challenge. We believe deep down that criticizing ourselves is motivational and moves us forward. But maybe for this hour, just allow the seeds to plant in your brain that presence, acceptance, and compassion might help you move farther forward, faster. This idea that they just might. Bring your hands to heart center, press your palms together, finger pads touch. Take a few moments to connect with your own intention for the next hour. What could you do to send yourself a little more compassion? Accept yourself as you are a tiny bit more. Own what works well, what you struggle with, and accept it all as part of the whole. Take a deep breath in through your nose and a huge out breath. Another deep breath in through your nose and a huge out breath. We'll take in a deep breath together for Om if you wish to join, and you can also do it silently at home. Deep breath in. Om. Bring your hands back to your thighs and slowly open your eyes if you close them. Let the light come back in gently. Soft gaze. Inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky, palms together, fingertips reach long. Inhale, stretch your side body up, and exhale, allow your shoulders to drop. Bring your right thumb and index finger to your left wrist. Tip your hands towards the right, ground the left hip into the earth, stretch the left side body, make some space in the lower ribs. Breathe in deeply. Huge out breath again. Breathe in that nourishment and healing. and huge out breath. One last deep breath here with intention. Let it out. Come back to center. Switch the clasp of your hands, left thumb and middle finger grasp the right wrist. Tip towards the left this time. Ground your right hip into the earth. Breathe into the right lower ribs. And huge out breath. Huge in breath. And huge out breath. One more deep breath here. Inhale, reach your fingertips back up towards the sky. Clasp your fingers together, flip your palms up towards the sky. Shimmy your shoulders back by your ears. Inhale, reach tall towards the sky. Ground the hips into the earth. And exhale, round your spine, suck your navel in into a seated cat. Inhale, reach tall. Try closing your eyes and just notice what works for you and what feels good. Exhale, round your spine, suck your navel in. With our eyes closed, we can connect a little more fully with our body. Inhale, reach tall. Slight arch in your spine, palms reach towards the sky. Exhale, round and suck your navel in towards your spine. Allow your head to drop with this cat. Notice the full opening in the back of your shoulder blades. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, allow your hands to open and fall towards your sides. Shake your shoulders out, roll them back 3 times. Just gently allowing the blood flow to move into all those areas that are stuck. Roll your shoulders forward 3 times. Send compassion to the creaks and the pops. If you're sitting on something, move it out from underneath your seat and extend your legs long in front of you. Rock side to side on your sit bones. Move the flesh of your seat out of the way. Tip your pelvis forward gently. Chest puffs out towards your toes. Toes flex back towards your nose. Notice the gentle stretch in your hamstrings here. Inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. And exhale, just fold forward gently. Allow your head to drop. Notice the tightness at the very beginning. And just breathe into any areas that are alerting you to their presence. Allow your heart to do its work. Send the blood flow to the areas that are calling out. Eyes closed here. And just notice. Slowly walk your hands up your shins to your knees, up your thighs. Allow your torso to come straight upright. Crown of your head shines towards the sky. Inhale, reach your arms out to the side. And we're going to wrap the right arm under the left. Give yourself a huge hug. Walk your palms towards the back of your scapula. Grab the inside of your scapula if you can and just squeeze tightly. Deep breath in. And huge breath out. One more deep breath in. Walk those fingertips farther around the scapula. And on the exhale, allow your head and neck to drop gently. Your head falls into the cradle of your arms. Toes still flexed towards the sky. Inhale, rise your head back up towards the sky. Allow your arms to open out towards the side. Flex your fingers. They reach towards the sky, palms pressed to the side wall. Wrap your arms in the opposite direction, left arm under the right. Walk those fingers to the inner edges of the scapula as far as you can reach. Squeeze tight, give yourself a hug, and let it all out. Huge inhale once again. Squeeze your scapula tight, give yourself a huge hug. And exhale, fold your neck forward. Allow your head to fall into the cradle of your elbows. Notice the stretch in the back of the body. 2 deep breaths here. One more. Raise your head up towards the sky once again. Unwrap your arms, reach them out towards the side wall, and allow your arms to drop towards your side. We'll come in hands and knees from here. Hands directly under your shoulders, knees directly under your hips. If your block or book is nearby, just place it somewhere towards the front of your mat. On the inhale, come into cow pose. Stick your sit bones up towards the sky, crown of the head towards the sky. Exhale, round into cat pose. Suck your navel up towards the sky, head drops towards the floor. Close your eyes if you can. And on the inhale, round, arch your spine, come into cat once again. Notice the movement. Just notice all the sensations with curiosity and kindness. Exhale, round into cat pose. Inhale, come into cow. Exhale, cat pose. Do 2 more on your own. Notice all the inner workings, everything that works together magically. We'll meet back in tabletop. Press your shins into the floor, tops of your feet into the floor. All 10 fingers equally connect to the floor. Knuckles connect into the floor, palms connect into the floor. Walk your hands forward a handprint, curl your toes and lift up into downward dog, gently. Walk your feet out, one foot and then the other. Focus on a spot about a foot in front of your feet. With your gaze, press your hands into the earth, press the balls of your feet into the earth. Reach your hips with intention skyward. Notice your heart hang in your chest here and the space created behind it. Can you send the breath to that space? Make space for it to fill in diastole. Better nourish everything within you. Use your breath here, deep inhales and deep exhales. Slowly walk your hands back towards your feet. Wide stance if you need, if your hamstrings are tight. Grasp your elbows and allow your head to fall towards the floor. Just release your head and neck. Shift your weight into your toes. And notice. Shift your weight into your heels. Shift your weight to the left. And your weight to the right. Notice how everything works together here. Allow your hands to fall towards the floor. Engage your core and your center, the space that holds you together. And use that strength to roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. To stand, head will be the last to rise. Inhale your shoulders up to your ears, scrunch them as tall up towards the sky as you can. Draw them towards the back of the mat and allow your shoulders to fall, hands open towards the front of the mat. And pause and notice here. Lift all 10 toes up, lower them down. Tighten your thighs, tuck your pelvis. Grow your spine out of your pelvis towards the sky. Drop the shoulders, crown of your head reaches tall. Notice your strength in this pose, and your groundedness. Left hand to heart once again, right hand on top of it this time. Notice your heartbeat under your hand. Notice the oxytocin, if you can feel it, being released. Take a moment to appreciate all that your body can do, all that it does in each moment where we're not even paying any attention. Connect with one thing about yourself that you would never wish to change. Something unique that you bring to the world that you don't want to stop bringing. Drop your hands by your sides. Inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky once again. Inhale, reach the fingertips tall and long, heels ground into the earth. Exhale, drop your shoulders. Take your right thumb and index finger, grab your left wrist, tip towards the right side. Ground your left heel and left hip into the earth. Open the left side body and send the breath into the whole left side. And let it go. Another deep breath. And let it go. Inhale, reach back to center. Switch the clasp of your hands. Left thumb and middle finger grasp the right wrist. Tip towards the left this time. Ground the right heel into the earth, right hip into the earth. Breathe into the right side body. Send the nourishment and healing everywhere. Even when you're a little off balance. One more breath. Inhale back to center, release the clasp, allow your hands to fall towards your sides. Inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky, palms together, fold forward towards the floor to a forward fold. Inhale for a half lift, stretch your spine long, crown of the head reaches forward. Exhale, forward fold. Walk your hands towards the front of the mat, come into downward dog. Hips once again reach skyward. Press into your hands with intention. Shift your hips back towards the back of the mat. Lift up onto your tiptoes. Reach your hips tall skyward. Bend your knees gently, shins parallel to the floor. Press into your hands. Press your hips back towards the back wall. Straighten your knees and shoot your hips up towards the sky. And slowly lower your heels. If you have a block or a book, try bringing it under your forehead. Rest your forehead in downward dog on the top of the block. Third eye presses into it. Connect with the earth. Notice the stretch in all the spots when you change this position. If you don't have a book, you can just stay in downward dog. Shoot the hips skyward. Press your hands into the earth, balls of the feet into the earth. Third eye into the block or the book. Send the breath to the back of the heart. Notice all the sensations as you hold it here with curiosity and kindness. Notice how everything works together. Even when different parts of you are calling out. Move your hips side to side gently. Just notice the change. Huge inhale and huge exhale once again. One more huge inhale and huge exhale. Take the block out from under your head if you have it there, or the book. Press equally into both hands. Square your hips. Raise your right leg towards the sky. Heel presses towards the back wall. Stack your hips. Bend your right knee. Roll open your right ankle. Send the breath and the curiosity and kindness into the front of that right hip. Roll your ankle in the other direction. Notice all the sensations. Appreciate them. Even the hips out. Gently bring your foot between your hands. Come into Anjaneyasana or low lunge. Walk the front toes forward so your ankle is in front of your knee. Back knee is on the floor. Top of the back shin is on the floor. Top of the back foot grounds into the earth. Engage your core. Use your strength, your centeredness to rise up. Arms reach towards the sky. Crown of the head reaches towards the sky. On the inhale, reach your fingertips tall, and exhale, sink into your hips. Inhale, reach tall, and exhale, sink into the front of that left hip. With intention, tack your right hip back and your left hip forward. Breathe into the front of that left hip, and then exhale. One more breath here. Close your eyes if you can. Notice how everything is working together. What's actually working here to hold you upright and balanced. Breathe in once more. Exhale, lower your hands towards the floor. Walk your right foot behind you. Come into plank pose from here. Straighten your knees, lift up into plank, top of the push-up. Ground your hands into the earth, all 5 fingers, all 5 knuckles, 5 palms. Even hips. Focus on your center, your strength, your inner strength. Tip your hips towards the heels towards the left, weight into the left hand. Reach your right arm skyward, come into side plank. Once again, notice how everything works together here. It's actually magical. Bend your left knee if you need for more support. And if not, both legs can be straight in side plank. 2 more breaths. Notice the magic and the interconnectedness of everything within you to make this work. Right hand back towards the floor. Come into plank once again. Top of the push-up. Send your energy to your center. Drop your heels towards the right. Shift your weight into your right hand. Reach your left fingertips towards the sky. Come into side plank on this side. Notice once again, everything that needs to work together to make this happen. You need to bend the right knee and kickstand it behind you. You can do that as well. Whatever works for you. Notice the magic of everything holding itself together here. Bring your left hand back towards the earth. Come back to plank. Press back into downward dog. Huge breath in here and a lion's breath out. You're going to stick your tongue out. Just let it all out with the out breath. Breathe in and huge out breath. One more deep in breath and huge lion's breath. Inhale your left foot up towards the sky. Allow your hips to stack, bend the left knee, roll the right ankle open, roll towards the right, and roll towards the left. Send kindness and curiosity and nourishment towards the front of the left hip here. Keep rolling your ankle out in whichever way you choose. Square your hips. Once again, extend your leg and gently bring your left foot in between your hands, coming into Anjaneyasana on this side. Walk the left toes forward so your knee does not come beyond the ankle. Back knee is on the floor, back shin grounds into the earth, top of the back foot grounds into the earth. Engage your center. Use your core to roll up. Head reaches towards the sky. Arms reach towards the sky. Inhale, lengthen your arms, your spine, grow tall. Exhale, sink into your hips. Inhale, reach tall and long. Exhale, sink into your hips. Notice everything working together once again. Inhale, reach tall. And exhale, settle and ground into those hips. Send energy and attention to the front of the right hip here. Notice the sensations. One more breath here. Exhale, bring your hands towards the floor. Step that left foot back. Come back into plank, top of the push-up. Shift your weight forward onto your tiptoes. Bend your elbows, keeping them close in by your sides. Lower down, chaturanga towards the floor. You can bend your knees if you need to. Forehead comes to the floor. Inhale for low cobra. Exhale, lower down. Press into your hands, curl your toes. Press back to downward dog. Hips shoot skyward. Huge breath in and huge breath out. Lift up onto your tiptoes and step, hop, or jump to the front of the mat. Forward fold. Grasp your elbows. Allow your head to sink towards the floor once again. If you have that blog or book nearby, and it may or may not be tall enough, you can allow your forehead to rest on the block. You can bend your knees a little bit if you need to, pressing that third eye once again into the floor. Connecting your head into the earth is a way to establish centeredness, connectedness. If you don't have the block, just grasp your elbows and allow your head to fall. You can also allow your forearms to rest on the block if your hamstrings are too tight to reach lower. This position with a block or 2 blocks or 3 blocks if you need to is very grounding and lessens anxiety. So if in the midst of the chaos of the world you feel you need grounding, this is a great position. Breathe deeply here. Send the air and energy to the back space behind the heart, creating more space for the heart to fill. And as it does that job of nourishing you, it can do it even better. It can send more nourishment, more healing to every nook and cranny. And it doesn't leave things out. It doesn't discriminate or judge. Take the block out from under you if you have it. Engage your core and your center and roll up to stand. Head will be the last to rise. Reach your shoulders up towards your ears, drop them towards the back of the mat, and allow them to fall palms open towards the front of the mat. Ground into the earth once again. Tadasana, mountain pose. Connect with your strength and your power here. Close your eyes if you're comfortable. Just notice the tingling. Notice the oxytocin flowing through you. At any point in the day, you can do this and regain your centeredness. Use the breath and use your strength. Inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. Gently arch backwards, palms together, fold forward towards the floor for a forward fold. Inhale for a half lift, spine straight, crown of the head shoots forward. Exhale, drop your hands towards the floor, step back to plank. Shift your weight forward onto your tiptoes, bend your elbows, bend your knees, slowly lower down, chaturanga towards the floor. Inhale for a low cobra or up dog if you wish. Press back to down dog. We'll do one more sun salutation for anyone who wishes to join. If you prefer, you can stay in down dog or come down to child's pose, which would be bending your knees apart, toes together, and just wait in child's pose if you prefer. Inhale, lift your toes up towards the sky. Lift your heels up towards the sky. Exhale, step forward towards the front of the mat. Come into forward fold. Inhale for a half lift, spine straight and long. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, roll up to stand, slight arch, arms reach skyward, gently back. Palms together, meet in front of the heart. 2 breaths here. Lower your hands towards the floor. Inhale, arms shoot up towards the sky, gentle arch, palms together, fold forward towards the floor. Inhale for a half lift, spine straight. Exhale, forward fold, palms on the floor. Step back to plank. Shift your weight forward onto your toes, bend your elbows close in towards you, lower down, chaturanga towards the floor. Inhale for up dog. Exhale, tuck your toes, shoot back to down dog. Come into child's pose from here. Bend your knees apart, toes together. Press your hips back towards your heels. Walk your fingertips forward towards the front of the mat and allow your third eye to press into the floor or your forehead. We'll take 10 long breaths here. Sending energy, kindness, compassion to your heart. Nourish that space behind your heart. Give it room to fill. Notice if there are spots within you, parts of you that need some extra compassion and kindness, and can you send energy there? And can you connect with one thing that you love? Something you love to do, somewhere you love to go, something that you love to do. What is it you love? Gently begin to walk your hands back towards you, and we'll press back up to downward dog. Curl your toes, shoot your hips up towards the sky. Inhale that right leg up towards the sky. And on the exhale, bring it between your hands. Come into warrior 2. So your front foot is jet lining towards the front of the mat. Back foot is pigeon toe. Cartwheel your arms up into warrior 2. Bend your front knee over your front ankle. Make sure it does not extend beyond the ankle. Arms reach long in either direction. Gaze is over your right middle finger. Ground your feet into the earth. Gently press your spine towards the earth through your hips, and also reach the top of your spine up through the crown of your head, long and tall through your center. Breathe into your chest, into the strength of this warrior pose. Breathe deeply. One more deep breath. Straight your front knee, shoot your hips towards the back, towards your left hand. Tip your right hand forward. Allow your right hand to drop towards your right shin. Come to Trikonasana or triangle pose. Left fingertips reach towards the sky. Roll your chest open. Look up towards that left hand. Breathe deeply in that space behind the heart. Bring your left hand into your right hip crease and roll the heart gently open a little farther. Look up skyward. Send kindness and compassion into your chest. One more deep breath here. Extend your left hand up towards the sky once again. Engage the left side body. Rise up. Torso reaches towards the sky. Crown of the head reaches towards the sky. Bend the front knee once again. Cartwheel your hands back towards the floor on either side of your foot. Step back to downward dog. Hips shoot upward. Rock your hips side to side. Find your center once again. Lift up onto your tiptoes. Slowly with intention, lower your heels towards the earth. Bend that left knee with intention. Press the right heel into the floor. Bend the right knee. Press the left heel into the floor. And come back to center. Both heels press towards the earth. Ground into your right foot. Raise your left foot skyward. On the exhale, bring your foot gently in between your hands. Come into warrior two on this side. Left toes jet-line towards the front of the mat. Back foot is pigeon-toed. Bend the front knee. Cartwheel your arms up into warrior two. Hands extend in either direction. Take a moment, ground your feet into the earth. Send your hips downward. Crown of the head reaches skyward. Fingers long in either direction. Gazes over the left middle finger. Breathe into your chest. Connect with your strength here. Your purpose, your intention. Notice how everything is working together. 3 more deep breaths here. Straight that front knee. Shoot your hips back towards the back of the mat. Left fingers reach as far forward as they can. Drop your left hand towards the floor. Trikonasana on this side. Right fingertips reach towards the sky. Roll your heart open. Gaze is up towards your right hand. Notice how your heart hangs in this position. Different space created. Notice how everything is working together magically. Your body knows what to do. Bring your right hand into your left hip crease. Roll your heart open. Gaze once again up towards the sky. Breathe deeply into all the areas of your chest. Areas that might be tight, areas that might be resisting. Send them nourishment. Reach your right hand towards the sky once again. Engage your right side body. Roll your torso upright. Shift both feet towards the side edge of your mat. Sides of your feet parallel with either end of your mat. Feet open wide in wide angle pose. Bring your hands to your hips, elbows behind you. Puff your chest out in front of you. Bring your hands to your sacrum. Shoot your hands towards the floor. Open your chest. Breathe into that space behind the heart. Hinge at the hips. Fold forward. Allow your hands to fall above your head and your head to fall towards the earth. Come into a wide angle forward fold. Notice the stretch and opening in the front of the shoulders, backs of the legs. Be gentle with yourself. Use the breath here to send nourishment to all the other areas it hasn't gone to yet. All the areas calling out for attention here. Two more deep breaths here. Bring your hands back towards your sacrum. Engage your core with a straight spine. Rise back up to stand. Extend your hands towards the floor again. Chest puffs open towards the front. Turn your toes out like a plie position. Bring your hands to your hips and bend your knees. Knees will be over the feet and ankles, like a second position. Sink your hips towards the earth. Come into goddess pose. Cactus your arms up above you. Sink the hips below you. Connect once again to the strength in your center. Notice how everything is working magically together. Right heel lifts up off the floor, lower it down. Left heel lifts up off the floor, lower it down. Bring your hands once again to your sacrum here. Shoot your hands towards the floor and allow your head to come down once again towards the floor in goddess position. Hands reach up above you to fall forward. Humble horse position. Notice all the strength required, how everything here works together. Send the breath to the inner front hips, the groin area, with kindness and compassion. Backs of the shoulders, fronts of the shoulders. Allow your head to drop towards the floor gently. If this is too much, you can bring your hands back to your sacrum and just pause there. Slowly rise back up to stand. Straight your knees, shoot your hands towards the floor, chest puffs open once again. Walk your feet, toe heel back to center. Release your clasp. Ground your feet into the earth once again, Tadasana pose. Lift all 10 toes up, lower them down. Palms open towards the front of the mat. Drop your shoulders. Close your eyes for a moment. Deep breath in and out. We'll come to meet lying on the mat this time. Lie all the way down, stretched out fully and completely. Legs extended long. Arms can be at your side for the moment. Palms open towards the sky. Notice if any part of you is calling out here, and send energy and healing nourishment to that area. Bend your knees, feet flat on the floor for a moment. Flip your palms towards the floor, press into your feet, lift your hips up towards the sky. Come into a quick bridge pose. Shimmy your shoulders underneath you, hands together under you, clasp your hands together, reach your hips skyward, press into your heels and reach upward. Send the breath behind the heart once again, giving it space to fill, space to nourish, and space to do its job, to take care of everything. Allow it to do its job. Don't get in its way. Reach your hips skyward. One last moment. Unclasp your hands. Untuck your shoulders, slowly lower your hips towards the earth. Bring your knees into your chest. Grasp your arms around them. Lift your forehead towards your knees. Give yourself a huge hug. Tight a ball as you can. Hold it tight. Rock side to side on your sacrum here. Squeeze those knees in tight. Forehead, try to touch the knees if you can. And then slowly release. Bring your knees back to the floor. Hands come back to the floor. Your feet come back to the floor. Sorry, knees bent. Bring your right ankle over your left knee. Grasp the back of your left thigh with your hands. Come into figure four here. Both feet are flexed. Take your right elbow, press it into the right knee. Draw the back of the left thigh towards your abdomen if you can. Send attention and care into that outside of that right hip. Purposeful attention. Three more deep breaths. Toes flex. Unclasp your hands from behind the left thigh. Bring them over your head into a loose cactus shape and twist towards the left. The right sole of the foot will touch the floor on the left side of you. Outer edge of the left leg will touch the floor, left knee will touch the floor. Come into an easy figure four twist. You'll notice a stretch extending from the right knee through the right hip, up the right side. If you wish, turn your head towards the right to intensify the stretch and lengthening. Send nourishment to any spot that's calling out. Knowing that every part of you is part of the whole. Three deep breaths. Bring your head back to center. Inhale, bring your knees back to center. Bring your right foot towards the floor. Side of your left knees bent. Even your hips out. Bring your left ankle over your right knee. Grasp behind your right thigh with your right hands. Draw your right thigh in towards you. Left elbow presses into the right knee, toes flexed, figure four, stretch on this side. Send your attention to the outer edge of the left thigh. Send nourishment to that spot that calls out. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out. Letting go of the tension, the angst, the judgment. And clasp your hands from behind the right thigh. Raise them above you into an easy cactus shape. Allow your weight to shift towards the right. Left sole of the foot lands on the floor. Outer edge of the right thigh lands on the floor. Right knee lands on the floor. Easy twist on this side. Notice the sensations all the way from the left knee through the left hip, through the left side body. And if you wish, turn your gaze towards the left. Use the breath. Notice how even here everything works together. Turn your gaze back to center. Gently bring your knees back to center. Uncross your knee, your ankle from your knee. Bring the soles of your feet together and knees out wide. Come into Supta Baddha Konasana or reclining butterfly. Knees will open towards the side, feet together. Bring your left hand once again to your heart, right hand to your belly. Notice your heart under your hand. Doing this amazing job every moment of every day. If you notice any spot here in your body that needs attention, send it nourishment and healing, oxygen and blood flow. Notice all that your heart can do underneath. All the good it sends out. Can you, with intention, get out of its way? When we look at a tree, we can see both its imperfections and its beauty. Maybe it has too many branches on one side or is bare and straggly in places, but it's perfectly itself. We can see what's beautiful in its imperfections. You are like that, perfectly imperfect. We're not meant to achieve imaginary levels of perfection. We're meant to be fully ourselves. Take your hands to the outer edges of your thighs, draw them together. Lengthen your legs out long in front of you. Allow your feet to fall towards the outer edges of the mat. Hands can fall at your sides, 6 inches from your waist, palms open towards the sky. Shavasana, complete resting pose. And you allow yourself a few moments to just be, to be fully yourself, perfectly imperfect, in this perfectly imperfect moment in the world. Complete surrender, complete acceptance, a chance to just be. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers, and your toes. Reach your arms long above you and your toes long in front of you. Take a huge inhale and a huge exhale. Bring your knees into your chest and slowly roll over to whatever side you choose. And pause for a moment. Press your hands into the floor and slowly press up to a comfortable seat. Hips ground once again into the earth. Spine stretches tall out of your hips towards the sky. Shoulders drop. Bring your hands to heart center. Press your palms together, finger pads together, elbows out wide. Take a moment to thank yourself for taking the time to come to yoga today. Take a moment to appreciate that you are perfectly imperfect. I wish for you to go out into the world today with a sense of your own beauty, all of its imperfections, beautiful just as they are, part of the whole, all working together. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. The light in me shines and reflects the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.